Good morning. Let's start the discussion. First topic that we take today regarding steady growth in the changing world. Despite growing global risks, the Indian economy seems to have performed fairly well in the last half of this fiscal year. The RBI governor stated last week that the second quarter might surprise to the upside, following first quarter's robust growth of 7.8%. The first quarter economy of India grew at 7.8%. In contrast to the weak manufacturing PMI globally, high frequency data such as the Purchasing Manager Index PMI stand for Purchasing Managers Index for manufacturing and services continue to show strong expansion. The push for public investment is still strong, tax collections are strong, and the financial environment has been favorable. India is more resilient because of its well-capitalized banks and robust balance sheet in the private corporate sector. That's the advantage of India. The second quarter's challenges from high food inflation and weak export appear to have been countered by the momentum and strength within the country. Also stable has been consumption. Consumption level remains stable in the economy. That means people's demand for goods and services remains stable. Rather, it is on an increasing streak. So that is a plus point when the consumption level in the market remains good. So this shows that the demand for goods and services will continue, thereby boosting the manufacturers and the service providers. Around two-thirds of the service sector activity in India is concerned in the urban area. So service sector more catered to the need of the urban area. The retail credit growth rate is over 18%, while bank credit growth is still robust at over 15%, both of which support consumer spending. So when banks credit grow and retail credit grow, it shows that people have demand, and to fulfill that demand, producers will come forward to produce, thereby generating more employment. And once these different services are created in the market, the government will be able to generate taxes for it. The temporary spike in food prices during the July-September quarter caused some instability in the inflationary conditions, but these have since subsidized. The headline consumer price inflation has dropped to below the Reserve Bank of India's comfortable 6% threshold, thanks to the entry of fresh food supplies into the market and prompt government intervention to curb food price spikes. Thanks to decreased commodity prices and less strain on the supply chain, non-food inflation has been relatively mild. In September, core inflation, which is determined by deducting fuel and food cost from headline inflation, decreased to 4.5%. So, deducting fuel and food cost from the headline inflation is called as the core inflation. But the headline consumer price index is still higher than the 4% target set by the Monetary Policy Committee of the RBI. India's external balance has remained comparatively resilient. External balance of India remain fairly resilient. Okay. With over 580 billion in foreign exchange reserve, so Indian forex reserve remain $580 billion. $580 billion is the present foreign exchange reserve with India. Okay, this is a good sign. Okay. So 580 billion per reserve, the current account deficit within the set bounds. The current account deficit is the gap between the total export and the total import. Fine. So this current account deficit is under control. So it is controlled, and for $550 billion forex reserve is adding strength to this current account deficit falling down. So the first half of the fiscal year saw India's strong performance against a backdrop of mixed trends in major economies. Some regions of the world, like the US, are seeing a slowdown in growth. Europe and China are not. Indian economy's relationship to the world economy, the interplay of regional and global developments, which can include shocks, structural shifts, and cyclical factors, will set the future of the economy. The near-term outlook is most significantly impacted by cyclical factors like rising interest rates, slowing global growth, and enduring shocks, most recent of which is the Middle East conflict. In the upcoming quarters, this will put the resilience of the democratic country to the test. Okay, domestic country to the test. Inflation continues to be the main worry on the global scale and pose a threat to extension of the already high interest rate. According to the Standard and Poor Global, the rating agency, it should lead to below average growth in the US the following year and the year after. This year, Europe is weak and will continue to be weak. 4 decades worth of data demonstrate that domestic growth cycle have synchronized with advanced countries because of greater integration of trade and financial flows. Over the past few years, India's export to the US and the European Union have increased while those to the Asia Pacific region have decreased. Increased trade exposure to the US and EU implies that a cyclical slowdown there will impact the local economy. The two geopolitical conflicts that are currently ranging, one of the Middle East and the other between Russia and Ukraine, have the potential to escalate crude oil prices and put pressure on the economy, public finances, growth, and external accounts. Because the Russia-Ukraine war is a major turning point in global economy. Okay. So, increased trade exposure to US and EU implies that a cyclical slowdown there will impact the global economy. The two geopolitical conflicts that are currently ranging on the Middle East and the other with Russia and Ukraine, the potential to escalate crude oil prices and put pressure on the economy, public finances, growth, and external account. Because the Russia-Ukraine war and the Israel-Palestine war, so has the potential to put pressure on the global oil prices. In addition, growth is anticipated to be moderate in the upcoming quarter due to domestic development like the detrimental effect of the weather on agriculture and the delayed interest rate hike by the RBI interest rate sensitive sectors. The PMI Purchasing Managers Index for manufacturing and services, although still robust expansion zone, have come down in October. India's potential for medium to long term growth, unprecedented structural developments, including changing globalization, technological disruptions, climate action, and demographic shift, will impact India's medium to long term growth narrative. The potential for global growth is being reduced by shifting globalization, which includes tariff war and supply chain diversification, as well as an aging population. A recent World Bank report projects that between now and 2030, global growth will drop to a three-decade low of 2.2% annually from 3.5% in the previous decade and 2.6% between 2011 to 2021. Although India's economic cycle are now in synchronous with those of developed nations, the country's long-term trend rate of growth continues to take a different course. Due to opening up and economic reforms, India's growth have increased while that of advanced countries have been declining since the early 1990s. In addition to riding the tailwind from diversifying the global supply chains, India can maintain and possibly improve its growth prospect as growth potential across advanced countries, so by developing both digital and physical infrastructure and implementing growth enhancing reforms to improve ease of doing business. Challenges to Indian economy: India is attempting to use manufacturing and infrastructure to industries with high carbon emission as its main growth drivers. Action related to climate change will therefore present a special challenge. So India's action relating to climate change is a big challenge for it. Making growth of labor intensive and enhancing women's participation is the second challenge. Okay, so making growth labor intensive, that means more and more labor will be employed along the growth is going on. So more and more labor will also be utilized. That is called the growth along with labor intensive use of more of labor. So that means the growth will be there. So more and more labor will be used for that. That should be the new approach. That means because India being a labor surplus country, if more and more labor power is used, definitely that will lead to more prosperity. India's growth rate can be maintained at roughly 6.7% annually through the end of this decade, which is marginally higher than the 6.6% annual growth rate recorded in the decade prior to the pandemic. As a result, India's economy will grow to 6.7 trillion and reach middle income level by 2031. Next is AI, artificial intelligence, the science and technology topic. Artificial intelligence development and their application of effect in everyday life. Awareness in the field of IT, disadvantage of AI, application of AI. So this is the topic. Why news? The Artificial Intelligence Safety Summit 2023. It took place at the Petcliffe Park in England. It presents a paradigm shift in how the world is approaching the problem that emerging AI technology presents. At this inaugural AI Safety Summit, 20 major nations, including the US, China, India, and European Union, signed the Bletchley Park Declaration in an effort to address these issues. This historic proclamation aimed to establish a shared understanding and unified strategy for addressing the possible advantages and disadvantages of frontier AI or advanced artificial intelligence systems. So the main features of the 2023 Artificial Intelligence Safety Summit, the Bletchley Park Declaration represents a high-level political consensus and commitment among the major AI players in the world, and is the first global agreement on addressing frontier AI risks. It recognizes that artificial intelligence has the potential to improve human well-being, but it also recognizes the risk that AI, particularly frontier AI, poses. These risks include the potential for serious harm, either intentional or unintentional, especially in areas like disinformation, cybersecurity, and biotechnology. Because AI-related risks are inherently global, it highlights the necessity of international cooperation to address them. Collaboration amongst all actors, including business, academic, and civil society, is called for. In addition, a regular AI safety summit is being announced in the declaration, offering a forum for discussion and offering cooperation on cutting-edge AI safety. In the next year, France will hold the next summit, and in the following 6 months, South Korea will co-host a small virtual AI summit. We have decided at the recent summit in England. So India's position at the conference, India is actively developing regulations based on this best nuclear harm approach, having previously taken the position of not considering regulation of AI. Artificial intelligence need to be regulated, and it has been well realized by India. India demonstrated its commitment to responsible AI use by calling for a global framework for the expansion of ethical AI tools. India has expressed interest in setting up national and international regulatory agencies to guarantee the ethical application of artificial intelligence. Although it has not yet been put into effect, the Digital India 2023 is anticipated to bring issue-specific regulations for online intermediaries, including AI-based platforms. The Wesley Park is located approximately 80 kilometers north of London in Buckinghamshire, England. It was the prime location of the British government code and cipher school during the World War II. During the war, the Bletchley Park worked as an interpreting message from the enemy. The German Enigma code, which was brought to be impenetrable, was cracked thanks in large part to the tuning bomb which was created at the Bletchley Park. This electromechanical this electromechanical apparatus greatly sped up the process of cracking codes, which helped the Allies win the Second World War. To this, they are able to win the Second World. The Colossus machine, which is frequently cited as the first programmable electronic digital first programmable electronic digital computer in history, was also created at the Bletchley Park. Artificial intelligence and modern computing are still influenced by the ideas of inventions created at the Bletchley Park. Today, Bletchley Park serves as a museum and historic site, drawing tourists around to its contribution and history during the Second World War. So, artificial intelligence led to transformative applications in the field of industrial, intellectual, and social applications. The main outcome of the AI Safety Summit was the signing of the declaration by 28 countries to meeting and discussing AI risk in future, the launch of the AI Safety Institute and a general agreement that more research is needed to make AI safe in future. Okay. So, next topic is direction regulating firecracker apply to all states in the country. Supreme Court recent ruling. Supreme Court clarified that its 2021 directions of barium and banned chemical in firecrackers are now applicable across country to curb air and noise pollution during festive periods. In 2021, the Supreme Court stated that there is no total ban on use of firecrackers, that only those firecrackers were banned that contain barium salts. Green crackers are permissible following the directions issued by the Supreme Court in 2018. They cause 30% less air pollution and do not contain hazardous elements like barium nitrate. Toxic metals in traditional crackers are replaced with less hazardous compounds. Council of Scientific and Industrial Research developed the green crackers, namely SWAS, safe water releaser, suppresses dust release by releasing water vapor in air. SAR, safe thermite cracker, does not comprise potassium nitrate and sulfur, emits reduced particulate market disposal and reduced sound integrity. Stockholm has minimum use of aluminum and use magnesium instead. Initiative taken to control air and noise pollution, National Air Clean Air Program, to achieve 30% reduction in concentration of PM10 particulate matter by 10 by 2025-26. The Rapid Response Action Plan for Delhi, noise pollution regulation control rules 2000 reduces noise level at night by restricting firecrackers and loudspeaker, etc. Okay. So, but this ban, how it will be implemented, is a big challenge for the administration because Supreme Court has only imposed the ban and has directed state and central government to ensure how this ban is imposed on use of firecrackers that pollute the atmosphere. The next topic is on the timeout in cricket. Recently, a batter had back before testing a single ball after he was timed out for the first time in international cricket across all formats. As per the International Cricket Council's playing conditions for World Cup, new batter must be ready to face the bowler within 2 minutes of the fall of the previous wicket. If he is not following this, then he'll be out and needs to be go to the pavilion. As per protocol, the TV umpire starts the clock immediately at the fall of the previous wicket. Okay. So once it is over, the TV umpire instantly start the watch. No. Okay. Then Global Tuberculosis Report 2023. What is the organization? WHO. Okay. So what is the organization? It is Global Tuberculosis Report 2023. The findings, it reported global number of people newly diagnosed with TB was 7.5 million in 2022. TB remained the world's second leading cause of death in 2022 after COVID-19. Net reduction of TB incidence from 2015 to 2022 was 8.7%, far from WHO and TB strategy milestone of 50% reduction by 2025. Only about 2 in 5 people with drug resistant TB access treatment in 2022. So 2 in 5, that means 3 are left. India's finding, India, Indonesia, Philippines collectively account for nearly 60% of the reduction in number of people newly diagnosed with TB in 2022-2023. India has 27% of the world's TB cases. 27% is only in India. TB is caused by the Bacillus mycobacterium tuberculosis, which most often affects lungs, the pulmonary TB. Most common medication to treat TB includes ionized uh, rifampicin, ethambutol, the pyrazamide, etc. Currently, the Bacilli clementine buri is the only licensed vaccine available. The BCG is the only vaccine available for TB prevention. Spread from person to person through air. TB risk factors, diabetes, HIV infections, undernutrition, tobacco use facilitate spread of TB. Steps taken to prevent tuberculosis. National Strategy Plan for Tuberculosis Elimination by 2017. TB Mukt Panchayat Abhiyan Initiative. Then the Nikha Poshan Yojana for nutritional support to TB patients. Then scientists have discovered the oldest black hole dating back to 470 million years to the Big Bang. This black hole is about 13.2 billion years old. The universe itself is 13.7 billion. NASA's James Webb Space Telescope and the Chandra X-ray Observatory were used to make observations with the gravitational lensing technique in the galaxy named the UHZ-1. The gravitational lensing occurs when massive objects distort and magnify light from objects behind them, acting as cosmic telescopes and making distant galaxies appear brighter. About black hole in the galaxy UHZ-1, it is a supermassive black hole almost 10 times bigger than black hole in our galaxy. It weighs anywhere from 10 to 100% of the mass of all the stars in the galaxy. It is considered a quasar since it is actively growing and the gas is very bright. Black hole is a place in space where gravity is so much that even light cannot get out. They are formed when massive stars die and there is a direct collapse of gases. Significance of the studying black holes to understand how matters behave in extremely strong gravitational fields, to understand how fast the universe is expanding and how it has evolved. The Chandra X-ray Observatory, it is a telescope developed in 1999 and designed to observe X-ray from high energy regions of the universe, such as the remnants of the exploded stars. The James Webb Telescope, launched in 2021, is the second largest point, the L2, 1 million miles away from the Earth. It is the most powerful astronomical observatory ever sent into space to see the universe in the infrared version. The Solar Alliance, the Aditya L1 mission of India, it was launched by ISRO. Okay. So Aditya L1 played named high energy L1 orbiting spectrometer has captured first glimpse of solar flares. Solar flare is an intense burst of radiation coming from release of magnetic energy from sun. These are solar system's largest explosive events. They tend to originate from regions of solar surface that contain sunspots, darker, cooler portions of the solar surface where magnetic field are particularly strong. They can disturb the Earth ionosphere, which is termed disturbs radio communication. They produce enhanced emission in wavelength across electromagnetic spectrum, radio, optical, UV, soft X-ray, hard X-ray, and gamma ray. So all are affected by the solar flares. Then come the question: what are the key features of the significant provisions of the Indian Constitution to encourage unity and diversity in Indian society? India is a nation renowned for its diversity, containing a multitude of languages, rich cultural legacy, and diverse religious views. The Indian Constitution, which went into force on January 26, 1950, is essential to preserving the nation's diversity and coherence. The Constitution seeks to uphold justice, equality, and fraternity for all of its people, regardless of their gender, caste, creed, or religion. A remarkable document that captures both India's diversity and unity. The Constitution. It aims to promote harmony among diversity in Indian society through a number of features and provisions. Among them are one constitution, all states and union territories are subject to the same constitution, govern the entire nation. This guarantee every citizen a uniform set of rights, obligations, and law. Article 1, which describes India as the union of states and calls itself Bharat, is an illustration of this. In fundamental rights, all citizens are entitled to certain fundamental rights under the Constitution, including equality, freedom of religion, and so forth. These rights foster harmony and tolerance between various societal segments while defending the rights and dignity of individual and group. Article 14, which guarantee equality before the law and equal protection under the law, is one example of this. Article 15 also forbids discrimination based on caste, sex, religion, race, or place of birth. It guarantees that every citizen is treated equally in the eyes of the law, encouraging harmony between various groups. Duty principle state policy. The Constitution also establishes standards that the state must adhere to in order to protect the environment, promote economic welfare, and ensure social justice. These values and aspirations are reflected in these principles, which also promote national integration and a sense of the common good. Article 39A, which mandates the state to offer free legal aid in order to guarantee justice for all, is one example of this. Then federalism. The federal system of government established by the Constitution divides authority between the federal government and the states. This permits diversity and regional autonomy inside a single framework. The Constitution also establishes dispute resolution procedures between the various branches of government, including finance commissions and interstate councils. Article 246 is one example of this as it enumerates the topic on which law can be made at each level of government. Devolution of power. The Indian Constitution establishes municipalities and panchayats among other local self-governing entities in recognition of the significance of local governance. The inclusion of individuals from a variety of backgrounds in local government and decision making has been aided by this provision. Secularism. According to the Constitution, India is a secular state in which the government does not favor any one religion over another but treats them differently. The state upholds the freedom of all religions and treats them with equal respect. The Constitution encourages religious harmony by permitting distinct personal law for various communities. Article 25, which guarantees freedom of conscience as well as the freedom to practice, profess, and spread religion, is one example of this. Linguistic diversity. The Constitution allows for the recognition of other languages by the states or region, but it named 22 languages as the official language of India. Linguistic minorities are also allowed to receive an education in their mother tongue under the Constitution. Article 350A, which permits linguistic minority to receive an education in their mother tongue, is one instance of this. Then cultural and educational rights. The significance of protecting cultural and educational rights is acknowledged by the Constitution. The Constitution's Article 29 and 30 guarantee the safeguarding the minority interest in India, guarantee the right of every community to preserve its script, language, and culture. Constitution also calls for the creation of educational institutions to advance minority interest. Furthermore, special provisions for the development of tribal area and northeastern states are outlined in Article 371 of the Constitution. This clause protects these regions' cultural identities while allowing for development that takes into account the distinctive cultural and linguistic diversity. Conclusion: the diversity and unity of India are reflected in the singular and remarkable Indian Constitution. Its guarantees of fundamental rights, state policy directives, federalism, local government, secularism, linguistic diversity, and right to culture and education all work to bring Indian society together despite its diversity. India has become a democratic, secular, and diverse country with the support of the Constitution, which has been essential in preserving the peace and unity of the nation. Then coming to the MCQ, what is environmental DNA? So environmental DNA. So DNA is like the genetic from the genetics, and environmental DNA is something new. It is the eDNA is the eDNA is the genetic material obtained directly from environmental sample like water, soil, and air. C is the right answer. Composite Water Management Index report is published by the Niti Aayog of India, National Institute for Transforming India. So, what is the Golden Mealy? So, Golden Mealy is a nickname for a historic mining district in Australia. Answer is B, Golden Mealy. So, what is the blue carbon? So, blue carbon is the carbon captured by ocean and coastal ecosystem is called as blue carbon, like the ocean and coastal ecosystem. So, the blue carbon. Consider the following pairs wildlife center in the states. The Gundla Brahmeswaram Wildlife Sanctuary is in Andhra Pradesh, not in Karnataka, but it is wrong. Debrigad is in Odisha. Mahadev is in Goa. Only one is incorrect. That means how many are correct? Two, because one is incorrect, it's not in Karnataka, it is in Andhra Pradesh. Then question number 6. What is an advocate and record? Advocate record is a legal professional qualified to present clients in court proceeding in India is called an advocate on record. Which of the following either are not criteria for being qualified as a biodiversity hotspot? So this is each one must be irreparable. Then it must have 30% or less of its original natural vegetation. Okay, here the correct answer. So here neither one or two is correct. With reference to the geoglyphs, consider the following statement. Geoglyphs typically consist of stones or soils and are essentially natural depictions. Right? So naphtha lines and geographs, right? So they are typical formed by plastic rocks. So only two are correct. That Euclid Space Telescope, it is sent by the European Space Agency (ESA). Consider the following statement about the border adjustment tax. VAT is a duty that is proposed to be imposed on imported goods to the custom duty. Okay, that is correct. It imposes a charge on goods and services in accordance with the original pricing principle taxation. That is wrong. So, border adjustment tax is to ensure a level playing field for both foreign and domestic companies operating with tax friction. That is right. So, 1 and 3 are correct and 2 is incorrect. So, thank you for watching. Keep watching regularly to update yourself. Thank you.